Hey, hope you're doing good. Today I'm out here in Hua Hin, Thailand with my friend Zane Thomas. He is a professional golfer and he's qualifying for Q School Asian Tour. So Zane, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview.
It's my pleasure.
I really appreciate it. So how did you start playing golf? When did you start?
My dad started teaching my brother and I when we were really young, probably about 3 years old. I first picked up a club and started going to the range with my dad, and just loved it ever since. Been playing tournament golf since I was 4 years old.
And when was the first time that you won your first golf tournament? How old were you?
I was 4 when I won my first golf tournament. I played in like a little junior tournament at my club in New Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I won the age division, the 7 to 8.
So did you grow up in New Mexico, or where did you grow up?
My dad was in the Air Force, so I moved around quite a bit when I was younger, but we stopped in New Mexico for a few years, and Virginia, I would say, is where I really learned to play the game a little bit better at more of a high level, though.
And did you always have like a coach, or was it kind of like self-learned? Was your dad a golfer?
My dad was a golfer. He played college golf, UC Irvine, and a pretty good golfer himself, a scratch golfer for many years, so he pretty much taught us most of what we know.
And when did you realize that you wanted to take golf seriously? Like you saw this as being an opportunity to, get a scholarship for college?
That was kind of a big talking point with my dad. I think he instilled that this was, along with good grades, was the way to get to college and get a degree and move forward in life that way. Were
you a pretty good student in junior high school?
Yeah, before college I was a pretty decent student, like above a 3.0, and then college
it was all downhill from there.
Not completely downhill, but I'd say middle of the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you were actually a golfer at UNLV for a little bit, right?
Yeah. And played college golf at UNLV.
Was there any reason why you wanted to go to UNLV compared to some of the other courses or colleges? I mean. Yeah,
the facilities that UNLV offers for golfers trying to get to the next level is top of the line, and we moved to Vegas when I was 11 years old, so staying home just seemed like the right thing to do.
And I think I kind of met you around that time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing. You were a little older than me, but we did play some tournaments together.
Yeah, I think I'm 1 or maybe 2 years older than you, and we played a lot of junior tournaments together, and those were good times.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good friends those years.
So what do you think is the main difference now between college level and professional level? Because you played golf at both levels.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it differ?
Time management is a little bit different. Everything's, when you're on a team with your coach and all that, your days are pretty much scripted out for you. You get up at a certain time where everyone has to get to the course, and then you play around, and then you have to hit the books for a little bit of the time too. But at the professional level, we have a lot more freedom, but that also comes with more responsibility, I would say, and we have to make sure we're on top of our details.
And when you were in college, what was more important to you, like grades or golf?
Definitely in my head it was golf at the time. I tried to do golf like to the best level that I could, and then kind of just scramble the grades together after that, which might not have been the easiest way to go, but worked out so far.
And it's really hard, right? Balancing golf and grades.
Definitely, yeah. You feel the stress and the heat, and especially there's pressure from coaches and family to not only play good golf but also do well in school.
So when you were playing college golf, were you practicing every day, or was it only a couple days a week, or how does that work?
We didn't have team practices together per se, but I tried to practice nearly every day. I'd say 6 days a week I was out at the course. School maybe took up 1 or 2 days a week.
1 or 2 days a week. And for anyone who's trying to turn pro, what do you think is like a good way that someone can take care of their finances before they actually become a pro? What are some of the good jobs you think that's related to golf?
Well, a bunch of my friends that also play pro golf now are also caddies at courses in our hometown, and that definitely gives you the flexibility to make a little bit of money on the side as well. And yeah, that's a good option to do if you have that opportunity.
Yeah, and you make pretty good money for not really working too much too, right?
Right. The hours you put in isn't like a normal 9-to-5 job. You know, you're out on the course maybe for 5 hours and then an hour or so for preparation for that. But I love the flexibility of being able to work or not work when we need it, and that really helps with our schedules with tournaments.
So walk me through let's say you have a competitive round of golf. How does your day start? Let's say your tee time is at noon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you wake up like really early? Do you have breakfast? Do you skip breakfast? Like, walk me in a day of one round of competition.
Well, my general rule of thumb is to wake up 3 hours ahead of my tee time. I don't know really where I came up with that, but I just felt like I needed that amount of time to really wake up and get my energy the right way. Usually have a little snack almost right when I wake up, but then I don't usually eat on the course. I save that till after the round. Then I'll get to the course maybe an hour and 15 minutes ahead of time. Do a little bit of stretching in the locker room, maybe a little bit of workouts and just movement, getting my body the way it needs to feel. And then I'll spend maybe 25 to 30 minutes hitting balls, and I'll chip for 10 or 15, which I think is a really important thing. You just have to get your feels of how the ball's coming off the club that day. And then obviously putting is a big deal too. You need to work on your speed before playing any competitive round.
What's your most memorable golf memory that you've had?
Ooh. I think in terms of like recent years, I'd say winning our conference championship at UNLV my senior year was a really cool thing, because I got to celebrate with my teammates and my friends being there. That kind of was a really special day, and yeah, that's a good memory to have. Definitely.
So what's your advice for anyone who, let's say he's like 12 years old, 15 years old, and he wants to move on to the next level, so get into college? Like, let's not quite go pro yet, but let's say moving from high school to college.
Yeah.
What would be your advice for them?
Definitely growing up in junior golf, I say to play against the toughest competition. Like, the easiest way to get better is to play with better players. You kind of pick up things that those guys do maybe a little bit better than you at that point, and that helps you move forward that way. So for instance, when I was maybe 10 years old, I would play in the 12 to 13 age division, and that just playing against guys with more experience and more power made me
step up your game.
Step up my game and like figure out how to score better. Yeah.
And then for someone who's in college right now who's thinking, do I have what it takes to play professional golf? What are some questions you think they should ask themselves?
Well, one, do you really love to do it? Because there are a lot of guys that play golf, and even go to college for it, but then once you turn pro, there's no one really like there supporting you and like giving you more opportunities. You have to go out and seek those opportunities and find tournaments to play in. And then I think you have to be okay with traveling, and I think you have to be okay with living in hotels or Airbnbs like this one that we're in right now for long periods of time, and being able to like be alone and by yourself and not go crazy. Like I kind of like my space and privacy, so it is kind of the perfect profession for me, I think.
I feel you. And what's one tip that you have for our viewers if you ever feel nervous? Like, what's a good way to calm yourself down?
A lot of people,
when you're playing.
Yeah, when I'm playing, a lot of people kind of struggle with that. When I get nervous now, like it affects everyone. You just have to know that everyone is nervous at certain times during tournaments and rounds at any time. But just being able to recognize what happens and how you feel at that moment, and then kind of use those different effects that you might be able to use in your advantage. Like you might be swinging a little faster, or you might have have a little bit more focus during those moments. I think really just recognizing how you react in yourself helps with that.
That sounds good. Well, Zane, thank you very much. Zane shot 69 today.
I did.
So good luck with your next few rounds.
All right, thank you.
And I hope to see you on the Asian Tour soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Julian.
Sounds good. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.